was a Volibear pun.
No, neither did
we
I.
weren't talking
Neither
about
did I
Volibear.
until afterwards, to be honest. I just wanted an excuse.
Interesting, interesting. Well, we've got some AD carries banned away here as we head into game number 2, Dagda, because we've got Kalista, Aphelios, and Varus all taken off the board. EDG considering whether or not they want to take a 4th one off here. Bear in mind that Ashe is something that Chongwuji has definitely lent towards, and it's the Syndra ban.
Yeah, so the Aphelios gone as well. So, okay, Rogue Warrior's still going with this Thresh first pick. So, I mean, you can just go back towards the Ezreal here if you really want to, solidify yourself with that strong marksman, or you can start to go towards that Ashe. And Ashe seems to be the one that comes out the most in these scenarios, just because she has a really strong pick potential. She's really strong laning phase. Her mid game is strong as well. She's just kind of a bit of an all-rounder.
Yeah, and also just the fact that it gives your team some engage to work with without really dictating the style of the entire composition is a very nice trait for them. Hope this will be this first time that he plays the Ashe this split, but ultimately, when you think back to spring, you think of things like the on-hit Varus. So Ashe, very much in a similar wheelhouse.
Yeah, and definitely know that you'll be able to position correctly with this Ashe. So excited to see what he can do now on this pick. However, though, it does mean that now Rogue Warriors have locked in this Thresh. They're solidifying that bot lane for Lei. But what do they want to try and pair it with? Because Kai'Sa struggles with the range with the Ashe. You could end up going towards something like the Lucian once again, but this time I really want to see Harrow actually playing aggressively towards that bottom side.
Hover is there for the Lucian you talked about, and it looks like Wuji is going to go for that one in the end. But he's nervous to click lock in. The time has run out. I guess
I'm assuming it's locked in.
I guess it'll update in a second here. But I'm going to assume that that one was locked in. So again, aggressive bottom lane coming out from Rogue Warriors. We just need to see them be aggressive alongside it.
Surprised if this Olaf does go through, because you're kind of counter-picking yourself into the Trundle. Yeah, I didn't think so. I was going to say I prefer the Lee Sin here, going back towards at least having a strong early game jungler that can win out in those early stages against this Trundle and have him move down towards this bottom lane, setting up Chongwuji for success. And then maybe we have a very different story where EDG, because you've got this Ashe, you don't have the Aphelios, can't just rely on this late game to carry them through.
So Nautilus as the pickup for Mako is the second game in a row here. And JJ has a similar style of champion to what he had in game number 1, where he can be that big tanky brick wall during the team fights. So far, so good for EDG. They're kind of drafting towards the way that they usually play things out. But as we move towards the second round of bans here, Dagda, what are you expecting to see?
It looks like EDG anyway going towards those top lane bans, which I don't mind. I think EDG, at least at the moment, have gone towards a pretty heavy pick style composition where you've got the Trundle pillars, the Ashe arrows, and this Nautilus as well. So they can double down on that if they would like to. And we'll have to see if that is something that they want to go towards, or instead if they want to try and move away and have Audi on this split push champion once again. They're an Ecton ban though, and I'll be curious to see the Mordekaiser here. Does say there is the potential here to go towards something like the Wukong if they really want to.
It is something that is an option for them. Audi's only played it once. It's a big favourite for Holder. That would be his 5th pick if Holder was able to get his hands on it. But I don't know if they're really going to allow that to happen. Or if they do, I won't be surprised to see them pick something that is particularly good into it. LeBlanc is the final ban here for Rogue Warriors to take that away from Scout.
That would be an interesting one to go at. I don't think they're just going to lock that in blind. I mean, there's a lot of picks that can do really well against the Sakali. So, yeah, I think Wukong's the best bet here. Leave that counter pick for Scout. You're probably going to see Ruby going back towards something like the Azir. This is his standard blind pick, and it does give at least a little bit of that late game carry potential on the Rogue Warriors side. We're still looking at more than likely a team fight orientated style here for Rogue Warriors, but we'll have to see what they do decide to go with.
Yep, so it's going to be Audi on the Wukong. It's a nice pickup for EDG. It's also a denial away from Holder. But things like the Volibear are available if Holder wanted to go in that kind of direction. He's played it twice already. Malphite comes through? That is not something I was expecting to see today.
I was like, okay, I wonder what champion they're going to go with that has some engage, you know. You're lacking it a bit. You don't want to just rely on this Thresh hook. Malphite was not the direction that I saw this going. At least it does work pretty well against the Wukong. You stack all that armor, becomes really difficult for the Wukong to kill, and because Wukong doesn't have the strongest of early laning phases, you can get towards those later points where you do have a bit of armor and a bit more sustain against this Wukong pick.
We also get to see Scout's Echo coming on through against the Azir. It's a pick that we've been seeing more and more into this Azir. It's kind of that classic Syndra counter that's now positioning more into just like these mage counters.
And the way you want to play this as Scout is you're just about shoving that wave super effectively and then looking to roam and have influence elsewhere. So when you look towards two big CCs in the Wukong and in that Ashe in the bottom lane, you have multiple lanes that you can have Scout play around. So this is where, again, I want to see Scout having a little bit more of an impact, especially since we've seen him, starting to play a little bit more of the Galio and the Twisted Fate. This just feels like it's a natural progression now for Scout to start helping out when it comes to these bottom lanes.
Yeah, Ruby on the other side of the board with the Azir. He's going to be looking to scale up a little bit in this game, which is the exact opposite of what we saw out of Rogue Warriors as a composition in game number 1 of the series. And it's kind of an interesting one, Dagda, because on one side we've got this Lucian in the bottom lane, and then we've got an Azir in the mid lane. So when it comes to when these carries are going to come online from Rogue Warriors, it's very much at opposite points of the game.
It definitely is, and that's where it kind of gets a little bit messy, I will say, for Rogue Warriors. You're relying mostly on how good the engages can be from Lei and from Holder to set it up where, honestly, if you manage to get these big engages on towards Hope and even catching Scout in the mix there, well then, in theory, you should just be able to win out the team fight automatically with that big burst damage that can come through relatively quickly. Again, though, it is that late game insurance coming through from the Azir, so I'd be looking more towards the engagements that are set up in the mid game to see if they can set up for Zhongwuji and as well for Ruby.
We'll have to see how the scaling is going to go for the side of Rogue Warriors. But across the board here, as we head into game number 2, it feels a little bit more even when it comes to when these teams want to fight. Neither team is just pure scaling. Neither team is like, oh, we don't want to fight for another 20 minutes or so. We've got a lot of mid-game action potentially ahead of us.
And I think we'll see that kicking off right now is Lei not quite able to find that hook, but that should dissuade them now as Rogue Warriors will back away.
Yeah, they've been spotted. They got their ward down onto that blue buff, though, so they're going to be able to spot out where JJ is going to start things off. And worth mentioning once again, we talked about the many players on either of these rosters, but sticking to the same rosters that we saw in game number 1. So both teams relatively happy with the way things went. Comet for the Malphite for Holder here up in the top lane. Do you think that indicates we could see something like an AP Malphite, Dagda, or is that too hopeful?
I think it's more so because the thing that a lot of people forget is that Malphite actually really hurts in lane. He can do a lot of damage, and that Comet gives him enough pressure that he should be able to shove out of the lane. We saw the Mordekaiser ban, we saw the Renekton ban, because these are picks that can do super well against the Wukong. Well, I'd imagine with the AP damage in the Kiss for Malphite, he'd be able to do a similar job against the Wukong.
Got a hook in the bottom lane here as Wuji's able to follow up. Has that Lucian as well. That's just giving me a nice little trade for Rogue Warriors to start things off. Let's remember that if they can get level 2 first, they have significant kill threat, but they're not getting that right now.
Well, the problem for that push power is that Hope has the volley. He'll be able to hit multiple different minions. You've also got that longer range, so you can start auto-attacking quicker. So it means you end up in this situation where oftentimes you just get pushed back in as the Lucian despite the pressure you have in the lane.
We're about to take a little look at the runes up in the top lane. In the meantime, Mako goes aggressive once again, but it was just a tiny bit too early.
Look, I'm a big Thresh player, and in my mind, I saw that hook go through him like, Lei, you toss your own hook out, pull him underneath the tower, and you kill Mako. So I'm really surprised to not see the return hook coming through from Lei, but look, what do I know? I'm not a professional Thresh.
That's true, but you are a professional that plays Thresh.
True.
You have a job.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Dagda.
Yeah, thanks.
Proud
Give
of
myself
you.
a pat on the back.
I know.
Yeah.
Good job, mate. Yeah, we could have seen a little bit more aggression, but ultimately, I think because Mako went aggressive from Rogue Warrior side, maybe Lei was like, hang on, they're about to hit 2. I don't want this right now.
Either way, so now we're looking at how we want to look at these junglers moving through. Because we do see Herald praying up towards this top side. Skull is about to spawn, but will be spotted off of a nice ward from Audi. And I think when I look towards Harrow, it is definitely going to be about taking the scuttle, backing, moving in towards this bottom side, and trying to set up for for Zhongwuji and for Lei. He does have both his Krugs and his Raptors up, so can stick around in this bottom side for quite a while as Lei
He went for the return hook this time as well as a volley onto Mako, so evens the trade up a little bit. One of the things about Ashe we don't often talk about is, in lane, she's exceptionally strong. The passive that you get, the damage on those follow-up auto attacks is pretty absurd.
And it makes it really difficult for Lucian to go for these quick trades because you like to E and aggressive. Ooh, hang on.
Oh, what a hook coming out from Mako. There's a root as well. A pillar, but late flashes out to safety. Wuji having to use the heal.
Yes, nice hook from Mako to set that play up. Flash was burned and a heal, so definitely a win for EDG. But that's all that you really wanted here is JJ, because it makes the follow-up plays that we're talking about for Harrow, who is now pathing down towards his bottom side, a lot more difficult.
Ruby is giving Scout a really hard time in that mid lane. In the meantime, Harrow wanted to find an invade for himself. Decides he does have to scoot away from this one.
Doesn't know where Mako is, and doesn't know where Hope is either. They just backed away from the turret, so a little bit careful about going for these fights already against JJ. You can see both of them kind of posturing, going, I don't really want to go for this too much.
Yeah, like aware that this could turn into more than just that tiny little fight. Holder is going to be running into the classic Malphite issue of having absolutely no mana to work with. So he's done a good job of bullying Audi a little bit in this top lane, but ultimately, until you... I mean, often we'll see him go for things like an Iceborne Gauntlet if he wants to, Sunfire Cape, things like that. Iceborne Gauntlet will help with the mana a little bit, but...
I imagine it'll still be the Sunfire Cape he's going for. This is the typical build that we see. Lei not quite able to land that hook again, but look, either way, yeah, the top lane I think is mostly going to be, as you're seeing now, oh, actually making sense, going towards at least that Bramble Fest first, because at the end of the day, you still want to try and reduce that healing that Audi can go for with the Stone Skin passive, and definitely going to have the likes of Hope, who's going to have a lot of healing off of the Blade of the Rune King as well that he'll pick up in a little bit of time.
We'll have to see if it's going to continue to go that way. We need to see Lei starting to hit some of these hooks, though, honestly. That's the big concern for the side of Rogue Warriors in my mind right now, because Lei has not been looking good so far this series, and it has very much been Mako in this lane so far in this game that's had control of the situation.
It's not even just who has control of this bottom lane. I want to see it. Oh, hang on.
Hang on. Scout went way too deep. He has to use the Chrono Break, but it's ulti for ulti, so, you know, you take that trade if you're either side.
I want to see Harrow having a bit more pressure as well, but unfortunately he's being chased around by JJ, a level down.
Yeah, Harrow's the one under pressure. Look at the damage that's coming out from the troll here. Harrow will walk away with his life, but once again, control for EDG here. We're going to 1v1 between the mid laners as well. Ruby is going to dodge away from the stun at the last second there, but he's low. Mako's ignited as well. Harrow underneath the tower here is Lei, desperately trying to walk away with his life. Will do so. Hope just can't quite finish him off.
It's all gone disastrously for Rogue Warriors. Mid lane losing out, forcing that flash burnt as well right after the teleport back in. Now the bottom lane for Rogue Warriors as well gone awry. EDG are taking over this early game.
Nicely done here from EDG, and quite an opposite of what we saw right at the start of the game in game number 1. Now they're going to be rewarded with this first Drake of the game. JJ will be able to smite this one. In fact, smite's on cooldown, so they might even give it to Hope.
And a lot of this early game play is stemming from JJ. He's been able to out-farm Harrow, keeping Harrow off of some of his camps when Harrow does go for the invade, but as well, setting up that bottom lane play where we saw the heal and the flash burn from Lei has caused a whole plethora of problems now where Hope is able to play aggressive, Mako as well as being able to support, and with Zhangwuji and Lei on this aggressive lane, but forced onto the back foot, EDG are benefiting.
EDG are certainly benefiting. They've been benefiting a lot in this series so far as Rogue Warriors. Unable to find their win conditions in game number 1, and now unable to find the first dragon. Important to mention, though, nobody died, right? They're not down in gold. They're only down 1 dragon. So things are still fine right now for Rogue Warriors.
There is an issue with the CS lead that's still there in that bottom lane, though, and the chip damage that Ashe is going to have on this turret. I don't know if she's got 1 turret plate already, but definitely she's going to be able to start chipping away at this. And with Zhangwuji taking a lot of these volleys, that eventually is going to whittle down and start to give it a little bit more gold over in towards Hopes. I want to, again, see Harrow making plays down towards this bottom side. Unfortunately for him, though, he was set behind, wasn't able to clear these camps as fast as like, was behind a level towards JJ on that bottom lane play. So his level 6 is going to be slightly slower, so that dragon kick play we'd like to see is going to be a bit delayed.
Not going to be able to go for it just yet, at least. And I'd love to see if he does focus down towards that bottom side, because that's exactly what we wanted in game 1 of the series as well, right? We wanted Harrow to make plays, try and set up this Lucian. We're in the same situation.
Well, where else is he going to go? You can't go for a Malphite top. I mean, sure, you get Malphite ahead.
Wow.
He's going to be a Malphite, you know? It doesn't matter. You go towards Ruby in the mid. Scout has so many ways of disengaging. He still has his flash. He's got that ult. He's even got his E to dive away. That can't work either. You have to go towards bottom lane, which has been made easy for JJ. He gone, right, I'm going to go bot lane first. I'm going to make these plays.
Oh.
Nearly getting the arrow there, but
I got really excited for a half second there, Dagda.
there's a lot of members here from Rogue Warriors, so at the 9-minute mark, 1 minute after Rift Herald spawns, we will still get the fight that is the usual here.
And it's EDG to start it off once.
Ooh, Scout.
Yeah, and Scout's going in for this one. Still has Chrono Break, but he's CC'd up. We'll have to... He doesn't even get out of the fight. Now it's going to be traded 1-for-1 here. AD carry for a mid laner. Do you know what? EDG seem okay with the trade, but with Holder moving down, let's bear in mind, Malphite is real strong as soon as you hit level 6.
I mean, you still got Ruby here as well, and with the way that Rogue Warriors can position, you have to be careful of not actually being able to close the gap on towards Ruby and him being a real nuisance in these fights. Rogue Warriors restart this up. EDG have to be careful if they want to try and aggress here, because Hope's only half health, and Holder with a flash ult can kill that Ashe.
It's just going to be given over, though. Rogue Warriors, the ones to grab themselves a Herald here, the giant crab itself. And we'll see what they're going to transition this one into. No towers have been taken, and let's remember, the story of game number 1 was all about these towers. EDG were somehow able to stay ahead on the towers despite losing out the actual fights themselves early on in the game. And Rogue Warriors, if they want to snowball, if they want to win with this Lucian, they need to change that story here in game number 2. The Herald should be able to help them to do that.
Well, start things off. It's already going a lot better for them. Collecting that bottom wave and not just losing that tower straight off of this play, but Scout getting CC'd down so heavily and does just about manage to finish off Zhang Wuji, but still, it means that it's a 1-for-1, and at this stage, yes, Zhang Wuji is a large portion of the damage for Rogue Warriors, but they still have a lot of pressure on towards Hope in that fight, so EDG don't feel comfortable to try and aggress. So we're seeing some growth from EDG. We're not just going to go and fight everything. We're going to actually think about this before we move forward.
I like it, I like it. And important to mention as well that once they get to a point where they're comfortable with fighting, once you get a couple of items on things like the Echo and the Ashe, they're the ones that can very much pull the trigger on this fight. With the Ashe to engage, with Audi able to follow up on this Wukong, they have an insanely strong team fight.
The only thing for me is, how do they try and have Hope operate? I feel like a lot more of this is going to be about EDG playing through side lanes and then trying to use the man and numbers advantage to find a pick. Scout can get some good chip damage down onto the structure if he's left alone, because of course you do go for that Lichbane build, but I think more or less if you end up just trying to enter into these fights straight up, you're sitting ducks for the likes of Holder, who's going to be gunning for Hope, and unfortunately for Hope, his flash has a much longer cooldown than Holder's ult does.
And we've seen this before. We saw this in LEC back in the playoffs where this Malphite plagued a lot of AD carries' lives. EDG trying to start a fight onto Harrow here. Depth charge going to be used, and the Lantern was denied by it. Bad timing from Harrow there as Wuji in a 1v1 with Scout. It's not a 1v1 he can win because there's an arrow on his face. The culling going to do some damage, but Scout wins it out in the end. Now Lei in against Audi by himself here. The rest of EDG collapsing on towards the Dragon. Lei forced to flash. Harrow still there.
Oh, they're still in the mix here. Has his ultimate.
Mako flashes away, has a stopwatch to keep himself safe. Harrow trying to get onto the enemy AD carry, but he kicks him to safety instead. JJ's there. They can't quite finish him off. In goes Ruby to finally get the kill. And it's Rogue Warriors now suddenly turning things around. JJ will be chased down, slowed up by Holder, and Ruby will be happy to collect that one. No, it's Malphite that gets it with the Bammy Cinder.
Will be the 2-0 for the Malphite, but still Rogue Warriors able to win out on those fights. And unfortunately for EDG, their comp just doesn't do as much in straight up 5v5s. And that's what we're talking about, is even when they get Zhang Wuji, even when they get the carry who right now should be the one dishing out so much damage, it doesn't matter. You've still got Ruby who's in great positioning over the wall, and they're still winning these scraps. You'll see it here with the teleport that comes in from Ruby. You also get it from Malphite, so this whole time, look at the soldiers here from Ruby. They are so strong in such a good position to poke out all these different members, and there's nobody who can touch the Azir with this position, separating out EDG. So then again, the Holder does come back around. Ruby's safe, can't get onto him, and it's just free hit for the bird.
And you know, Audi would have loved to get onto Hope there, but used everything onto just Lei. Like, Lei is not the target. If you're the Wukong in the fight, if you guys at home are playing Wukong in solo queue, please don't use both of your ults on just the support. That's not how you win a League of Legends.
I don't even know how you could have got onto it there. I mean, he does have the flash, but you can see there that, like, with basically bodyguard holder at the side of him, making sure you can't get onto him, it's not going to be pretty if you flash over his Audi to try and finish that off. So great positioning and well played from Ruby there to find that spot where he could be so well protected but dish out so much damage as well.
Now we've got another fight just for a blue buff here. Scout not going to be able to really contest though. Does force the smite at Harrow, so they would have loved to give that over to Ruby. It's not going to happen. Audi is in a bit of trouble.
That ult's nearly up for Holder, which is why he's posturing. He's like, get over here. I want to kill this monkey.
Unstoppable force in the top lane from Holder. He could find a solo kill for himself. And let's bear in mind, Malphite is a lot stronger than I think people give him credit for. Even plates across the board here, but he scales off of arm. Like, he still does a lot of damage, even when he's building tank.
And this is what you're seeing, is just how strong that can be. But also, he does hurt. Like, his laning phase is quite strong. It's just a case of the mana gate that's attached to it. So when you're trading very effectively against Audi, who doesn't like AP matchups with this Wukong, it has worked out pretty well. You can see a bit of a CS lead there from him. And now you got a bunch of armor as well that's just going to hurt Audi even more.
So we've got a bit of a reset here, and Rogue Warriors, once again, with the gold lead in the early game. This time it's a little more convincing than last time. Not a huge amount, but it is on Ruby. It's on the Azir, so that is very much a good sign for Rogue Warriors. Holder, not feeling any good signs right now as his tower is taken away, but actually the rest of his team's going to collapse. There's a knock up there. Onto Lei once again. Oh, it's onto Mako, sorry, to find themselves the first kill. It's Lei, though, to try and follow this one up. Hook goes wide. He was trying to predict Audi's retreat, culling under the tower, which you can't quite finish off the monkey kick.
It's perfect timing, though. They can get this top lane's turret, and you're looking at that Rift Herald about to spawn as well. Scout will answer in the bottom lane, but honestly, if Rogue Warriors could just turn straight towards this Rift Herald, pick that up, they now have pressure in mid as well that's already super low. It's win for Rogue Warriors.
Feels good for Rogue Warriors. As you rightly say, Scout can answer in the bottom lane, but Ruby goes mid to finish this tower off. Not quite. He's going to be denied by Hope. The Blade of the Rune King proc scares him away, and he knew that the Crystal Arrow could have come out at any second, so respecting that one. Now they move over towards this Rift Herald. But this is going to be two tier 1s going down in favor of EDG. Sure, on the scoreboard right now, Rogue Warriors are behind when it comes to the towers, but with how low the mid tower is, and with a Herald in hand, you'd expect Rogue Warriors to start to build even more of a gold lead.
And a minute 30 until this next dragon as well. So they can use that Rift Herald to create pressure mid, almost either guaranteeing that they get that mid lane structure, just not even with the Rift Herald if they just want to auto attack it a couple of times, but it'll definitely give them control of that river, which is what they so desperately need. Because if you've got to try and aggress forward as EDG into a Malphite, into an Azir, and even into a couple of hooks from Lei, it becomes really difficult to do with the composition that they have.
Let's take a moment here to talk about the compositions, as you rightly mentioned, especially from EDG, because on Rogue Warrior's side, it's like, cool, we got a bunch of CC, combo it together, let Ruby go nuts. On the side of EDG, you mentioned earlier about potentially side laning, and especially this Echo. At what point in the game is that going to realistically become a win condition?
Well, we've already seen it to a certain extent now, where Scout is taking these side lane structures. It's more about trying to create pressure that you have to respond to as Rogue Warriors. Because if you've got Holder and Ruby that are stuck in side lanes trying to deal with Scout and Audi, well then you can have Hope look for these picks alongside Mako and JJ and try and work through that win condition instead.
See if they can set those picks up as a win condition. In the meantime, Rogue Warriors, they reckon their win condition is just trying to batter this mid lane tower down. Herald goes in for the charge. Wuji will get a couple of autos in, but realistically, can't quite follow up. But with the Azir tower here, they're going to be in a perfect position to set themselves up for the dragon.
And that's what we talked about. Creating pressure mid with that Rift Herald means that they can just gain access to this dragon. I don't want to see EDG go for this, but we are getting a teleport towards the bottom side, which means they're probably looking to fight.
It does not surprise me. EDG don't like to give up objectives for free. JJ moving in as he wants to contest this dragon. He's taking a lot of damage, but knockups across the whole team from Audi, and Rogue Warriors scattered immediately. EDG, they don't find a kill, but they've got perfect positioning now. Keep your eyes on Holder, because an unstoppable force could certainly change the face of this fight.
The first punch doesn't always win the fight. Rogue Warriors are looking to land the haymaker on the second time. EDG still posturing here, but look where Scout is.
Scout's behind the rest of the squad. If he can get onto Wuji, it would change everything. Won't find the stun here, only onto one as he goes into the backline and Chrono breaks back out again. Rogue Warriors are so low on the health, on the HP right now. Harrow is chasing on Scout, but I don't know if he can even 1v1 him right now. Rogue Warriors forced away. JJ getting onto the dragon here. Harrow has gone too far, but Mako won't quite find the hook.
They never pulled the trigger. Holder's still sitting on his ults. He ends up getting poked out before Rogue Warriors are able to find any sort of engage, and it means that with the threat of Scout on the back line, EDG pick up the dragon and run away.
Emotional warfare here from EDG, just like scaring Rogue Warriors enough that they're not willing to fight against EDG, and that's going to be 2 Drakes now in favor of EDG. And granted, they're behind in gold, but they're finding advantages elsewhere.
And now, if EDG are able to, as we see on the map right now, get some of these side lane structures, it's more about trying to get down this mid lane one now. So again, this side lane pressure becomes even higher. So you can see already, again, Audi pushing in, trying to get control of this top side. Scout will teeter off towards this bottom lane as well to try and just answer for pressure across the board. And EDG are delaying any threats on the map, objective-wise, that they've got to respond to so they can keep themselves in these side lanes.
And it's important to keep your eyes on the build that we'll see coming through from Scout, because Echo, as soon as he gets that Lich Bane, spikes massively. We'll be able to go from just kind of tickling Harrow in a 1v1 with the jungle to suddenly just one-shotting whoever he gets onto in the backline.
And I imagine Shangwuji is going to try and respond a little bit to this, get a QSS, try and get some magic resist into his build, as well as providing that immunity from CC from like the Ashe ult, and also, of course, from the Scout engagement too. But Rogue Warriors now looking to maybe catch a few members of EDG out.
There's going to be a control ward, so they do have to clear things away and keep themselves safe. Mako steps forward. Wuji, I guess his E was on cooldown there, so can't actually finish things off. But now Rogue Warriors once again in control of vision. Wuji just going to be trying to push this mid wave out so that they can set up to try and find a pick onto EDG.
I think they're looking for a brawl. If Rogue Warriors are able to congregate EDG into a single spot, this works out far better for them, where they can have these big front-to-back fights, but I don't want to see EDG give it to them. They should have Audi down in this bottom lane right now, trying to push out. Same with Scout, who could be going top, but Mako looking to start this engage.
Yeah, Mako not
Look where
afraid.
Scout is.
Hang on, Scout's behind them. Ingo onto Wuji. The stuns are everywhere. Goodbye to your AD carry. Wukong onto the rest of the fight, and this is already over in favor of EDG. They get another knock-up onto Holder, but ultimately, once again, we see no Malphite ult.
In my head, I keep thinking, right, Rogue Warriors are going to have vision. They're going to be able to spot out Scout. Every single time, they have got 0 vision down, which means Scout is just walking in completely free, finding these perfect flanks that he shouldn't be able to.
No, Harrow's in trouble. Lantern to get him out to safety here. Holder holds the ult though. That's the most important. That's why they call him Holder. Hold it, Holder. Hang on. He's
no, he's going
to
use it to get out now.
Mako
use it to
hooked.
escape.
Scout is just going to go for a 2v1 on the backline right here. He goes for the ult finally, but he's completely alone and Hope survives. Barely, but living is all that he needs. Ruby now wants to make the play. Everybody's low from EDG. And he's going to find himself a Scout instead, but Scout's got the Lich Bane, and he knows it. Knocks him over the wall, and Wuji jumps straight on towards him, but the Chrono Break keeps him alive. In with the shield, but he can't quite get it. Ruby finds the kill in the end.
Just about. All said and done, though, Holder did stop the Baron from going down. They did prevent the play from going through, and even picking up a kill on Scout, although it does cost Holder and Herald's life. So EDG still picking up gold. I will be able to just turn straight back over towards this Baron and at least pressure that objective again.
So let's take another look here, because I mean, just everything lands on.
But there's no vision. There's no anything from Rogue Warriors here. They're fighting completely blind, and Scout consistently, fair play to him, has been able to wrap around, but this should be spotted out way before that. Or Rogue Warriors should be playing towards the vision that they had. They had Summon River already. If they back out towards that vision, it makes it far more difficult for Scout to actually be able to find these massive flanks, and Shang-Wu-Ji won't be getting caught out.
Well, our Kentucky Fried chart at the bottom of your screen is favoring EDG now. The Colonel was liking the look of Rogue Warriors for a bit in this game, almost up to 75% there. But it's all starting to go a little bit pear-shaped for them. And now you mentioned vision. That's exactly what EDG have managed to set up around this dragon that's spawning in 25 seconds.
And this is where you've got a massive advantage for Rogue Warriors. No flash on Hope. You do have the flash on Holder. They can just look to gun straight for this Ashe, and that's what they're looking to do now in the situation where you've got Harrow hiding off on the side and Holder teetering off in vision as well.
Audi is in the perfect flank spot, though, if they get into a fight, but he might be too far away at this point because Mako's already engaged upon Stoneplate, keeps him safe, and a Dredge line out of things.
Lay, will you land a hook? He missed it again.
The answer is no. I can already tell you the answer is no, my friend. Scout tried to fight away onto the flank as well, and Rogue Warriors, they didn't actually use too much here. They used the box, they used the culling, but ultimately, Holder's still holding it right now.
Rogue Warriors are in a position, though, where they have vision around the place. There's the hook.
They got the Drake, they got Mako as well. Now the fight really kicks off. Holder finding a knock-up onto the backline. Wukong goes down. Scout can't really finish anything off here. Lay's still surviving, and Rogue Warriors, nearly find another one as Harrow throws out the Sonic Wave. They found a perfect fight.
And they're also super healthy with Holder's TP, so they can turn towards this Baron now, where you've got no Mako and no Audi to try and disrupt it.
We're going to see a couple of recalls across the board, though. I think they're a little nervous just to try and force the issue for now. And they're just going to return to the side lanes, return to base, make sure that they can spend some of this gold and keep going.
They might have been able to force a little bit more there, especially with Harrow having his flash, his dragon kick. You can pick off anyone who tries to threaten the back of the pit, but I mean, you've already got the Blade of the Rune King, plus Ruby is super far ahead on this Azir. They would have destroyed that thing.
That's true, but let's just think about this in the context that this is a team that is 2-13 right now in the LPL. Perhaps confidence is lacking just a little bit on this roster, and if it was, I wouldn't be all too surprised actually.
Fair.
I don't
know where to go with this.
I know you want perfect League of Legends. I know you want them all to play optimally, but I think that's maybe too high of an expectation for Rogue Warriors right now.
Well, it does mean that we might get another scrap at this Baron, as you can already see Rogue Warriors starting to posture. They have shoved in these side lanes as well, which means that at least for the moment, they have the advantage of getting it to this objective, looking for these fights nice and quickly before Scout can really pose a threat on this bottom side.
Wuji going to clear things out in the mid lane. And, I mean, Rogue Warriors still have the threat of this Baron, right? They have complete vision control. They have the position as well. They're just going to keep pushing this vision line even deeper.
I don't know why Scout's coming to join here, though. I would have preferred to just see him putting pressure on that bottom tier 2, because you still have that teleport. You can still make these plays happen.
He's out of mana.
He's out of mana. What I was about to say, yeah, but I don't know. Blue buff will help, but you're giving more time towards Rogue Warriors to get these waves in shape and create the vision that they want. And now they can just turn towards the Baron and with all the vision there, find these big engages with Holder and Lay.
So Scout agrees with you. He just needed that blue buff. He's gone down to the bottom lane, but that means that Rogue Warriors start this one off. The Hawk shot from a Hope does give vision here from EDG, but Rogue Warriors don't seem deterred right now. Teleport going to be forced. Harrow gets the lantern out. This is great micro from Rogue Warriors.
Perfect. They got the teleport from Scout. That was the big thorn in their side. And now EDG are forced to try and keep tabs on where Rogue Warriors are positioned, giving them these big brawls and 5v5s that they want, especially here in mid.
Scout's gone very deep to try and get this one. Flash hook from Lay. It's onto Mako here. Scout's already gone down. This is a great fight, but it's actually being turned around because in the meantime, Hope is just free firing on the back line. Arrow goes through onto Wuji, but he flashes to safety. Now it's Audi in trouble, getting himself out as well. Everybody low, but nobody going down. Hope flashes back onto the back line here, getting onto Holder as well. The DPS is there, and Judge finds himself a double kill. Now onto Wuji as well. One more auto gets the kill. And Hope still surviving, keeps himself golden. Mako goes back in, and EDG find themselves the team fight.
Why did Ruby go in? They had the fight. They were so close, and Ruby just flies straight into the middle of EDG, and they're like, cool. There's the big damage source of Rogue Warriors down. Shang-Wu-Ji's too low to follow up. And EDG and Hope will clean out the fight. They will get this mid lane turret, but oh, Rogue Warriors, you were so close.
It was a weird fight as well, because we just saw basically everyone just mashing their faces together to see who would win.
Watch how it starts off, because Lei goes one way, Hoder goes the other. They go towards Scout, they do get the pick, which is great. And then they try to follow up here. I like the way EDG are just kind of putting pressure to Shang-Wuji at all points in time. The knock up into the ult is not fun for Lucian, but Ruby's decision making here baffles me. He's fine to just keep following up on this, they just need to force EDG back. But that engage there, straight into Hook, straight into his death, when he's the one that's only keeping EDG at bay, is such a bizarre call for me. Hope has the Blade of the Rune King now. He's healing up magnificently this whole time. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know anymore, man.
I mean, his ult as well. Ruby did not have a good fight because he tried to ult Audi as soon as the TP finished, but he was late. And so all he did was just knock Audi's clone away and waste his ultimate entirely.
So if the first ult... Oh, hang on, Herald.
Lantern from Lei keeps Harrow safe here. So bear in mind, Dragon's coming up in 20 seconds.
Yeah, Dragon is going to be up, and at least Rogue Warriors do have command over this river area. It's only Soul Point, though. So still a lot of fighting to be had before we get to that Dragon Soul.
And you know what? At least we've got some fighting on our hands as we head towards the 30-minute mark here. There is a GA that's been picked up by Hope. So if he wasn't hard to kill in the last fight, he's going to be now. EDG moving in as Rogue Warriors finding themselves. No, it was stolen! JJ finding that one, and now the fight as well. The Scout gets onto Wuji, but Wuji barely survives for a second. Now he's gone down. Scout running away from everybody, but Harrow doesn't have damage to finish him. There's the Zhonya's as well. And it's full retreat now for Rogue Warriors, but Scout won't let him go.
And it'll be Baron as well for EDG off that play. Dragon getting smote away by JJ. And EDG just showing the superior team fights over and over, where Rogue Warriors don't have vision in their backline, don't realize Scout has snuck in again. They're managed to jump over the wall, and Ruby is desperately trying to get Scout out of the picture. But it means that then that wall that could have set up a defensive line essentially for Zhang Wuji and for Ruby to fire over is now used in the reverse, and there's nothing they can do.
I love how we're seeing an evolution here of EDG, but let's talk about that in a moment after the replay.
Look at our scouts. There is zero vision here for Rogue Warriors, so Zhang Wuji and Ruby are kiting into Scout, and that that ult there, if that had been able to be used forward because they'd already spotted out Scout or was able to shove him away, it meant that then the rest of EDG couldn't have just collapsed into the pit and kill everyone. But look, it's EDG across the board.
And it
kills Baron, Dragon. It's
another Malphite ult that we see used right at the end of the fight when everything's already lost. Like, engage with it, man. That's why it exists in the first place.
Even if he uses it defensively there, I'd love to see, in fact, in that fight, Hoder using the ult onto Scout, and then Ruby just putting up this wall in front of the rest of EDG. Because if you can keep Nautilus out, if you can keep Trundle out, and even Audi out of these fights, you're going to do far better. But instead, Hoder's holding onto this for the perfect ult. And now it means that the fight's over, you've already lost, and then it's like, great, you've got 3 people in that ult, but it doesn't matter.
Audi finds himself a tier 2. Interesting Cyclone, and the culling is just going to mow him down. Not ideal for EDG, but you know what? They get 3 towers across the map, so I'd trade that for a kill. Now straight into the bottom lane as well. For Scout, he's got the Lich Bane, so he has plenty of split push pressure.
Rogue Warriors are collapsing though, so won't be able to do too much here. That does hurt quite a bit for EDG with Audi going down, because he was a threat that they were using on the top side, which could have bought time to try and use this Baron buff, but now you've got a minute left. Audi isn't going to be back on the map for about 40 to 50 seconds unless he wants to use that teleport, so it's a big win for Rogue Warriors here.
Yeah, it does look like Audi's flash was available there, but there's just a smidgen of timer remaining on that at the top. So his flash was on cooldown. That's why he ended up going down. But it's important, actually, that he still has that flash, right? Because that's going to be up for the next potential fight here.
There's the TP from Audi. They're looking to catch out Harrow, who's gone on his wayward journey. He's gone real deep.
Bit of a weird one here, as Harrow is going to be able to get back to base. So a little bit of a goose chase. And Harrow zips on home. In the meantime, EDG do nothing with this advantage.
What's that movie you were telling me? 1917? Is that the one? I feel like we've just watched Harrow on that journey into the enemy lines, and does manage to make it back out safely to deliver the message of vision.
This was a little less emotional than 1917 is as a movie. I was less invested in whether Harrow got out, but you know what? That's okay. Not every movie is born equal. We are going to see, though, Rogue Warriors turtling in now, and they've got to defend these inhibitors. Let's bear in mind they've got the Azir, right? So theoretically, on the scaling side of things, kind of give it to Rogue Warriors? Question mark?
I mean, it's more about EDG having the opportunity to play their style of game, and that's what they want to do. Scouting Audi, being able to shove in these side waves, you're pressuring Rogue Warriors, so they have to move around the map a lot more. And I'm still laughing at, like, Rogue Warriors have got vision into a place where EDG won't step for quite a long portion of time. So I'm just really confused as to why Harrow was going on that roam.
Ultimately, what Harrow did there, Dagda, was he went in, he got some really deep vision, some really valuable vision. He's going to know when that red buff's coming up, by the way. Just want to throw that out there. But also, he got a TP out of Audi.
He moved the pink ward. That pink ward isn't even going to stay from the next Barons up. They've moved the pink ward. So now all that vision is died, and the spot scout has just returned to the map.
Priorities change over a man's life, okay? I'm with Harrow on this one. It was a perfect macro move. The maneuver paid off. He got out of it with his life. He got a TP out of Audi. It was magnificent. This is what we should see in every game.
I hope not.
Here we go. Rogue Warriors trying to start a fight onto Mako. He's got a stone plate, so he will be tanky enough to survive for now. Damage onto Wuji, but push back. Scout barely gets away with his own life, and now Audi trying to get knockups across the team. Scout goes back in onto Ruby this time, and the carries have fallen. EDG yet again win another team fight. Lei goes down. Gets a bonus hook at the end, but it's not going to do anything. And Harrow once again surviving in the jungle. This time, though, there's a troll on his case. No TP is going to be used, but Harrow will not be able to get away. Or will he? Sonic Wave onto the minion wave. In the meantime, EDG, though, they're tearing apart the base. I want to talk about Harrow because it's exciting, but ultimately, in the meantime, he's losing the game.
Yeah, ring around the rosy here for Harrow. Keep running. Don't stop. He still has flash. He'll be fine.
You can survive the game. Harrow's going to live on through this, but Rogue Warriors will not. EDG going to finish things off, and they're happy with this win, you can tell.
Oh, Scout's going.
Every possible summoner spell, but EDG take it in the end and get themselves the 2-0.
EDG do manage the 2-0, and off of some great flanks from Scout.